sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready. No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to support the show and support SHR Media, go to Reaver.one and pick yourself up a t-shirt. Yeah, pick yourself up a survival bracelet. God, I couldn't remember basic words. Holy shnikes. And it was a boring weekend. No good stories to tell of why I wouldn't remember basic words. Whew. So, how's things going on your end? I think they're going pretty good on mine. I'm not bragging. I don't brag about that because then always something comes and kicks me in the nuts. Oh. I see it's just another day in the neighborhood. Some information is coming out that a certain hedge fund founded by the king of the institutional left, billionaire and Democrat Party mega donor George Soros, donated tens of thousands of dollars to top Republicans who fought against President Donald Trump in 2016. Say it ain't so. I'm wondering if you can guess who they are. Now, these weren't direct donations from George Soros, but they've been able to patchwork. And it's kind of funny because one of them jumped up, wasn't even accused of anything, jumped up, started defending, giving a straw argument. And it was like, holy shit. This guy's guilty and he knows it. Soros Fund Management, a former hedge fund that serves now as an investment management firm, was founded by a progressive billionaire, George Soros, in 1969. It has risen to become one of the most profitable hedge funds in the industry. Employees of the firm are heavily involved in backing political candidates, giving millions upon millions to groups that were supporting failed 2016 Democrat presidential nominee Hillary Clinton for president. But more importantly, the unsurprising giant lumps of cash funneled into the Democrat Party and Clinton coffers is the revelation, thanks to the Center for Responsive Politics, that employees of the Soros firms, now run by his son Robert Soros, pumped tens of thousands of dollars into the campaign of top anti-Trump Republicans over the course of 2016. In total, executives with the Soros-funded company pushed $36,800 into the coffers of these GOP candidates just this past cycle. That does not include super PACs or campaign committees, which saw tens of thousands of dollars more. Now, these numbers for Republican pale in comparison to the millions upon millions poured into the Democrat groups, causes, and candidates. It is significant that Soros executives are making a play inside the GOP. Perhaps even more significant is the type of Republican aimed to prop up pro-amnesty, pro-open borders, for trade, and generally speaking, they were anti-Trump. The pattern emerged when looking at policies of the Republicans that the Soros fund management executives support financially. Would you like to know which? I know everybody's sitting back. And they're all going, yeah, I know which ones they are. Paul Ryan, Marco Rubio, Jeb Bush, John McCain, John Kasich, and Lindsey Graham. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. Paul Ryan is the one that actually, I mean, it did surprise me, but yet it didn't. The rest on the list, I didn't need any article. I didn't need, for proof we needed, but for, I knew those others were getting funding. What is it? David Rogers and Joshua Donfeld. I think they gave $10,800 to Paul Ryan. Of course, the chief spokesman for Paul Ryan, Brandon Buck, is not responding to questions at this time. But, it kind of goes along the line of Ryan's support for open border when it comes to immigration and trade, and his backing of so-called criminal justice reform is in line with Soros' worldwide view, and he regularly bashes Trump over the course of 2016 election. As no surprise, Senator Lindsey Graham, a failed presidential candidate, received about $3,500 from the firm's employees. That included a $1,500 donation from Soros fund management executive Scott Bessent. Bessent has left the firm to work with a different hedge fund, but oversaw George Soros' $30 billion future for the last 4 years. Listen, these are small donations, but they're something. Why is Soros putting money into these guys? That's the question. These guys know who Soros is. And they still take money. That's something weird. you know who these funds are coming from. You know the source. And you know what's going to be attached to them. It's sad that, and now we're finding out also, I've been doing a lot of reading into the Koch brothers. The Koch brothers may, hate to use the term, might have been like a double agent. They were funding open border candidates. They were funding Republican candidates that were more Democrat than Republican. But these politicians don't give a shit as long as they get the money incoming. They're trained little puppets anymore. They have no substance. They just dance for their financial masters. It's a thinker. I mean, we got to pay more attention. We got to pay more attention than what they actually say. We got to look at their records and see what they actually do. It's one thing to say, well, I'm for this, I'm for that. It's another for them to actually do the shit that they say they're going to do. It's sad. This is what our country's come down to. I'm looking over my shoulder. Most people know I play a lot of video games. And I play with a lot of international players, and I'm listening to this jackass Scotch Welsh douchebag. He's going on cussing about Trump about some golf course in Wales. That's his biggest bitch. Jesus Christ. all these schmucks mostly do is run their mouth about Trump. What? This person was just bitching about a player, complaining about the gameplay. And then it's like, well, just put a ticket in. I don't give a shit. And then goes off complaining about Trump. So I just told him to put a ticket in. God. Now, actually, the person found it funny. So, all right, they're not that big of a douche. It's most of these people that complain about Trump only know what the media tells them. Then the media gets all upset when they get pounced on for pulling this bullshit. Listen, I want the media to hold a president to the grindstone, but what I want them to do is report the fucking truth. I don't want them making up the truth. I don't want them making up the story. I don't want them to be part of the story. I don't want a Brian Williams here. I want them just to report the story, take their opinions, shove them up their asses, and just report the story. Is that so hard? And we're going to have a story in a minute of a Democrat that's saying that there's a Trump investigation and evidence is not required for impeachment of Trump. I love how these rules change. The rules just change. Because if there was no need for evidence, we would have impeached Obama. But we're going to save that for after the break. It seems Iran is prepping. They got satellite photos, is prepping for another launch. Oh, God. The media talking how we have to hold the president to a standard. Where the fuck were these reporters the last 8 years? They had their lips so far up Obama's ass, it's not funny. And then we've had these goddamn politicians who's getting paid off by the likes of George Soros. It's all fudged up. It's all fudge-sickles. Oh, God. Democrats are going nuts. They feel that they're all empowered because a judge put a temporary restraint on the travel ban. A temporary restraint's been put on the temporary travel restriction ban, and they're all empowered by it because a liberal judge ordered it, who actually should have, from what I'm hearing, recused himself because he gives free legal advice to immigrants, basically how to get around immigration laws. And now they're going after Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly about it, and they're going to make a mountain out of a molehill. Listen, I'm not upset that there was a temporary hold. It happens. We'll see what happens if it goes all the way to the Supreme Court. The case court will be heard today, I'm hearing. The liberal media is trying to make a big mess out of it. What about when Obama put executive orders on amnesty, and that was halted? I don't remember the media throwing a hissy fit. Oh, well, I remember a hissy fit, but not for the halt. How dare they put this to court? How dare they stop King Obama's executive orders? And we actually got comments coming up from people about Trump and his executive orders. But we'll get to that later. You are listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media. We will be right back. Oop, wrong button.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cap for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Well, Vice President Pence has shown up to Capitol Hill to cast his vote. There's a tie in the Senate on Devereaux's nomination. So he just showed up to cast his vote. Let's see. I'm checking something because there's a lot of discussion on the Senate floor because I think that from what I'm seeing, Democrats aren't happy it's such close and the rules are being followed. We know how Democrats love rules. And we're going to pipe in for a minute to see what's going on. I don't know exactly what is being said. We'll see what's going on.
Are getting fully funded in my state. They're not. So I guess what I'm confused about, and I know what public schools mean to rural Missouri. I know they are the essence of the community. If the essence of this woman's career is to take money out of public schools in rural communities and put them in private schools that will never exist in many of these small communities, they are kicking in the shins the very voters that put them in power. And I don't get that. I don't get that.
You don't get a lot of things, honey.
I don't understand how you can give the back of your hand to rural America with this.
Well, I'm going to bring in here, because they're big bitches about charter schools and all that. My daughter goes to what we call a magnet school. It's like the charter schools. It's part of the public school system. And let me tell you something. My daughter went from being behind, majorly behind. I think she was like a grade behind because of what the public school did. We got her into the magnet. And it took time. They worked their ass off, the school did, and so did my daughter. But because of the magnet school, the way they do things, the smaller classrooms, so forth and so on, my daughter was able to catch up. So, they try to say, well, it's racist. Well, they need to take a look at the facts, because the majority of the students in these magnet schools are blacks, Hispanics. Hillsborough County has it set up that there's public transportation. Now, it's a little bit of a bitch. The students that go to these types of schools, they get picked up early. Like, my daughter would have to be at the bus stop. I think it's like for 5:30, 6 o'clock pickup. They then would get transported to a what they called the hub. You know, they would get brought in. Then they have to switch buses that would take them to the school that they're going to. And same at night. And she wouldn't get home till 4 or 5 o'clock at night. So we drive her in and pick her up. There is transportation. There is solutions for this. And most of these schools are built in urban cities because of the fact that there's actually a lot of cheap land that's in those areas. Because they go into areas that are run down, that are the cities are developing. So it's here in Hillsborough County, Florida, these work out. It works with the whole system. And it gives choices. Zip code should not determine where a kid goes to school. And if it wasn't for what this school system, I don't know where my daughter would be. So this argument, because she's for charter schools, is a moot argument. It really is a joke argument. Because these charter it just works. And they know damn well, the Democrats do. They know that could hurt their elections because it can start straightening out the education system and start giving everybody a fair shake. Even though they've been screaming racism for years, this could actually show where, there's no racism. But this could be helpful. So, I don't understand certain things. They just seem to want to bitch to bitch. And with that, I had teased about a Democrat that says they don't need the Senate has been in session since 12 p.m. yesterday. It's I got sidetracked there. Sorry. And this is not going to come as a surprise when you find out that it was Representative Waters. And she's saying that there's no evidence required for impeachment. That right there is stupidity. She was asked about her comment last week, stating that her greatest desire would be to impeach President Donald Trump. Right there, that tells me she's out. She doesn't have fact. She doesn't have anything. She is out. And I love this always because she brings it up about there's an investigation. There's an investigation. If you knew what we knew. That's the problem. They make these statements because knowing that you cannot know, even if there was something, and you can't disprove because she never states anything. She gives a roundabout comment. Drives me up a wall. Let me see if I actually got video on this. You would think I would actually have this stuff in advance, but no. I could be an idiot. And here's the thing that they don't talk about. They keep wanting to bring up Russia and Trump. And she actually makes a statement. Now, he's got a hand around his shoulder and all this. What about, I seem to remember, here it is. Here's the video. Or audio for you guys.
Waters, we really wanted to also have you on because you are making news today saying Donald Trump's actions are leading himself to possible impeachment. Explain to me why you are going there 2 weeks into his presidency.
Well, first of all, just let me say these are not normal times. We have a president.
This guy is phone.
Chaos and division. So many questions about.
The only one doing any division is the Democrats. They're the only ones that are trying to divide America. They are doing everything they can to divide a big wedge in between. So I'm getting tired of that rhetoric. Be proud that you're doing it. Don't blame other people.
His conflict of interest, lies about whether or not he separated himself from the businesses he claimed he would separate himself from, not showing his tax returns, putting his arms around Putin.
Putting his arm around Putin. For number one, I don't think the two have ever been in the same fucking room. And again, what about Obama doing the wave with Raul Castro? Going to a baseball game with Raul Castro. Actually being together with a communist dictator. Oh, that was okay. Now they want to make up hyperbole on, I think I used that word right, on Trump. Because Putin and Obama haven't been in the same room.
Defending Putin, working with the Kremlin. I want to know, and a lot of people want to know, was there collusion between Putin and the Kremlin and this president as they hacked our DNC and our DCCC and some of us? We want to know, how deep does that go? We want to know
Congresswoman, what's the evidence? Forgive me for jumping in, but what is the evidence that would lead to impeachment here?
Well, that's what I'm telling you. We have investigations that have already started. There's an investigation in the Senate Intelligence Committee. In the House, you have investigations going on in several places, in several ways. This man is questionable. And what I'm saying is, because we are suspicious, many of us, about who he is, where he came from, what his actions are, and all of his conflicts, and what this business of loving Putin and the Kremlin so much. We have to find out more about him. And some of that, I think, leads to the possibility of impeachment. And I think that's legitimate to say, given everything we know at this point.
I understand on the investigation, but, you know, you do have to find evidence before using such a huge word, such a tremendous word as the I word, as the I impeachment.
Listen, no. Let me tell you what you're saying is this. You're saying that you don't ordinarily hear members of Congress who would do what I'm doing, who began to talk about impeachment because they would fear that perhaps they were not going to get the information, or other people would think they were acting
well, especially
too
2 weeks in, Congresswoman. I mean, the man's been in the Oval Office 2 weeks.
It doesn't matter how much time it is. Do you know that anybody who sat on television just yesterday and said that they thought that that Putin was a great leader, and when he was asked about what about him being a killer, he said, so what? You know, there are other killers, and said that there were killers in the United States. Don't you think that's unusual?
Not for me to answer the question. Member of Congress, so I get to ask you. I do know, Congresswoman Waters, that the White I know where you're going, but hang on. The White House is slamming your comments. They're calling it extreme rhetoric, completely out of touch.
And it is extreme rhetoric and out of touch. And it's not surprising coming from the Democrats anymore. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and the HighPlainsPundit.com. We will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying Catherine is stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. And I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Oh, the Democrats, they are in a massive hissy fit doing whatever they can to try to stay relevant right now. So, I think it was last week I reported that the DNC had expelled a candidate for DNC chair because he pointed out that Muslims are against the gays and lesbian and all that. And they threw him out for making a radical comment. Yeah, I didn't know the truth was radical. Well, he's now suing the DNC for breach of First Amendment, which I don't see how he's actually going to win, because technically a company doesn't have to give you your First Amendment rights. They have a right to tell you when you can speak and when you can't speak. You don't have free speech at a company. Which the DNC technically is a company. It's not a branch of the government. I was expecting, when I saw the picture of the guy, for it to be a white guy that got expelled for pointing out that it was Muslims are against it, gays and lesbians and all that. And I was surprised to actually see it was a black man that actually said it. And it's not, I just expected from DNC actions. Call me racist, call me whatever you want, I don't care. It did. It's he was expelled for simple comments. His being a Muslim is and he was talking about why rival Representative Keith Ellison shouldn't be chairman because of Islamic faith, citing the religion's position on homosexuality. Quote, his being a Muslim is precisely why DNC voters should not vote for him. Muslims discriminate against gays. Islamic law is clear on the subject, and being gay is a direct violation of it. In some Muslim countries, being gay is a crime punishable by death. Democrats hate that to be said. They hate that knowledge to be pushed out there. Because when facts come out and facts show what the Democrat or what the Muslims are really about, and I know not all follow that. I'm not going to argue that. But what I am going to point out is that is the rules. And there's a lot that do follow that. There's a lot that follow that portion of the law. And speaking the truth is not hate speech. Speaking the truth is what the Democrats are scared of. They can't take the truth. Because when the truth is put out there, it destroys anything that the Democrats say and talk about. What they hope for when they make the statements, and they know how people are nowadays, they read headlines, and that's why they got in bed with the liberal media for the headlines. Most people read the headline and not the article, and then they go on. If you found out the truth of what's going on, and the Democrats count on people who are not going to research their information, that's what they count on. They count on ignorance. They count on people being lazy. And, you know, I've been called a couple of times. I'll read the headline and just skim on to something else and not bother reading the article, and found out the headline was very deceiving. Like I said, I have gotten caught in that a couple of times. Sorry, I kind of got caught in a thought. So I went quiet for a second. I got caught in a thought. It's the same crap over and over again with them. And I feel bad because I come here and I'm talking, and it seems like I'm always saying the same thing over and over again. But if you don't, and I was talking, it was to my wife. She's like, when the drama stops, maybe I'll get involved. They try to make too much drama out of it. I understand what she's saying. I do. But if you don't speak up against it, we get, well, Obama. There was a lot of people against the beginnings of Obama. But they were like, it's my voice only. Why speak up? Why speak up? And I got my parents finally believing it. When they are the only speech being heard, then they are the majority. If you have two people in a room that stand up and talk, and they're the only ones speaking, it is well believed and understood that that's the majority opinion in that room. But when you have everybody else starting to stand up and speak against those two people, you find out they are the major minority in the room. That there might be 8 people out of the 10 that are against what those two people were talking about. But when they stand up and speak, and that's what I do here. I'm standing up to speak against. And I'm still on the air, so I got enough people that listen to justify me being on the air that agree with what I have to say. You may not always agree with everything I say, and that is life. I don't expect anybody to agree with me 100%. And I don't agree with a lot of people 100%, because that is life. Everybody has varying degrees of opinions. But we can't be quiet anymore. Those days of being quiet are long gone. I shouldn't laugh, but Obama took off kite surfing while he was in the Virgin Islands, and he was doing it with Richard Branson. And a Republican speaking on the floor, sorry for jumping subjects, just brought out that all these nominees have gone through an ethics office, and none of them were found to have conflicts of interest. But you hear all the Democrats out there, he has a conflict of interest. This one has a conflict. They're using words. And again, I think, I'm telling you, we need to do a donation. Dictionaries for Democrats, and we'll highlight certain words that they use that they don't seem to understand the meaning. Conflict of interest. Affordable health care. Constitution. Legality. Majority. And the list goes on and on and on. It's the same rhetoric over and over again, and we've heard the same thing. And I love, and I've noticed a little bit the left has been backing down the rhetoric because he was actually embarrassing. Well, they were embarrassing themselves. But what he was doing is he had him out there every day screaming, this one's a racist, that one's a racist, sexist, conflict of interest, and just over and over again. And what was happening is he was overloading it to the point that people started going, it's the same rhetoric. They're screaming Chicken Little. Sky is falling. And it seemed to have worked. Because they're starting to pipe down because the same rhetoric over and over and over again is just that rhetoric. And American people were catching on. He is playing a game that they've never played before. The Democrats. They don't know what the hell to do. They don't know what the hell to do. The normal stuff is not working, and that's what I loved about him when he announced. I knew he would not be like typical Republicans. You scream racist, they lay down. I'm not a racist. Go into fetal position, rocking themselves. I'm not a racist. I knew that he would be out there going, whatever, next. And he would ignore it. He wouldn't give them the time of day. Deny the story. and go on. It's that simple. But they continue. It's Democrats just seem to be exploding. It really does. They seem to have this massive implosion. So it's noontime, and it's time for opening prayer. I give Senate credit. They actually been doing some work. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and the HighPlainsPundit.com. We will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cap for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Much Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey expansion is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on SHR Media and the HighPlainsPundit.com. So, I know it's going to be bad. We're going to talk fashion for a little bit. I just saw, what's her name? Elizabeth Warren. And, made me laugh because in the same jacket I've seen her wear almost every single session. Seriously, I think it's the same blue blazer. Bloody blue blazers. We know she's rich enough. It's I don't know. It just made me laugh. I know it sounds stupid. So Joe Scarborough from Morning Joe on MSNBC. Man, every time I think that he's kind of getting his sanity back, you know, he goes and makes a stupidity comment. And I don't even know how, I've read how he got to where he was going with his point, but it's that path that he takes just doesn't make sense. You know, he's making the accusation, or he's saying that Trump needs to come out with a statement. He opposes assassinating journalists and rivals. Oh, Lord. Yeah, he really came out and said that he needs to come out and say he's against assassinating journalists and rivals. This is why the media is a joke, people. They are considered a joke. Not even a funny joke anymore. He goes on his tantrum because in the interview with Bill O'Reilly, Trump was asked about Vladimir Putin, and basically Trump, listen, is Putin a powerful leader? He's respected among his people. Is he doing some fucked up shit? Yeah. But he is a powerful leader. He's doing what he thinks is best for his country, and his country is loving him for it. Not saying right, wrong, or indifferent. When Hitler got into power, he was doing what he did for his people. I don't agree with how he got there. He was doing what he had to do for his people, his countrymen. nuts, but that doesn't mean I agree with the reason, with how he got there, or even the end results. Anybody with a brain would understand that there's a difference between saying, okay, this guy's he's a killer, he's this, he's that. It's easy for that. And the left now all of a sudden wants this big fight with him, and that's why I don't understand. They want to pick a fight with Russia when for 8 years we ignored Russia. Russia got this powerful because of Obama. He did nothing with Crimea. Shit, the other country. Tip of my tongue and I can't remember it, sorry. But everybody knows the history and what's going on. Obama was weak on all that. He did shit. And now they want to come down on Trump? Yeah. It's amazing how now they want to come down on Putin. But for 8 years, I mean, what did it, Obama say? 1980s want their policy back. Wasn't that a dipshit? I think I got it somewhere. Yeah, here it is.
Russia, I indicated, is a geopolitical foe. Excuse me, it's a geopolitical foe. And I said in the same paragraph, I said, and Iran is the greatest national security threat we face. Russia does continue to battle us in the UN time and time again. I have clear eyes on this. I'm not going to wear rose-colored glasses when it comes to Russia or Mr. Putin. And I'm certainly not going to say to him, I'll give him more flexibility after the election. After the election, he'll get more backbone.
A few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia. Not Al-Qaeda, you said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy. America, you said Russia. Not Al-Qaeda, you said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back. Facing America, you said Russia. Not Al-Qaeda, you said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy.
And it's funny now, the Democrats are the ones all crying, Russia, Russia, Russia. Where were they for the last 8 years? And I would love one person to turn around and ask them that. Where were you the last 8 years when the Obama administration and the Democrat policy ignored Russia? I know we'd get a lot of rhetoric and run around. But I would seriously like an answer. Where were the Democrats during the last 8 years? Where were they with Russia on the last 8 years? Buzzing our ships, almost running into our ships. It was okay for them to ignore and respect. And talk about how they have more flexibility after your election. If anyone was in bed with Putin, it would be Obama. It would have been Hillary with the reset button. I'm not impressed by their bullshit over Putin. But yeah, Joe Scarborough, sorry about that total left tangent. Left-hand turn right there. And Vladimir Putin supposedly has assassinated journalists. And Trump refuses to criticize Vladimir Putin. So therefore, is he saying it's okay for journalists to be assassinated? It's just, how they derive at this comment is beyond me. God damn it. My TV acting funny. I don't know. It's the same crap over and over again. There's no need for it. It's they're doing anything and everything they can to try to attack Trump. And I don't even know if it's doing any good at this time. And like I said, Scarborough, it's like, God damn it, he starts to make, it sounds like he's coming out of that fog, and then he goes and jumps into idiocy. And to make that leap is just, come on. Journalists are better than this. And they know they are. But they'd rather spew the same old rhetoric over and over again than try to talk the truth. They got to try to demonize him. They're trying to slander him because his policies are going to create jobs. If we stop allowing so many immigrants into the country, it'll force companies to start to hire Americans. And that's the thing when you look at California and they're screaming that they want a ban on this refugee halt. And then they scream, well, we need more immigrants to be brought in to work, as Americans are out of work at a record level. It just seems like it's something that would be. And then they wonder, what's America first mean? It means you hire Americans first. It means you worry about America before worrying about foreign entities. It's that simple. It's funny they want us worrying about Australia, and Australia has a right to worry about Australia, but we don't have a right to worry about America first. We have to worry about what Australia thinks and how they feel. Forget that. Australia worry about Australia. America worry about America. It's that simple. It really is. It's simple. It is what it is. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and the High Plains Pundit.com. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. It's weird. It really is. The vote for Betsy DeVos for Education Secretary is going on right now. It is at a 45 yes and a 49 no. The vote's still going on. Vice President Pence is there. I think I reported earlier there was a tie. My mistake. I'm really sorry about that. Trying to read headlines and do the show at the same time. Sometimes it gets messed up. Everybody knew this one's going to be a tight one. But here's the thing. Even if she gets voted down, okay, that's one nomination shot down. Big whoop. It happens. But you'll see the left pounding their chest like it's like the biggest accomplishment. That shit. All right, they're up to 50 no's. So if they get one more, she's shot down. But it just... It's amazing if they get one win, how much they'll be banging their chest. It's funny, I'm sitting here watching all the senators talking to each other, and they're in their little cliques, and some are talking to others, and... Is that Pence? No, that's Sessions. Sorry, that's Jeff Sessions just voted. So we're at 46 yays, 15 nays. 47. Three more at a time, then Pence will come out and cast the deciding vote. I don't think it's ever been done before, but you know what? That's why that rule is there. And with that, we're going to go on. The left is now bashing Lady Gaga because she did not attack Trump during her Super Bowl halftime show. This woman was in a position, no matter what, she was going to get attacked. If she did it, she was in trouble, and I think... the NFL ratings would have dropped even more than they already did. But since she didn't do it, now the left is attacking her. Now, like I said, I had been hearing that NFL told her no political stunt, no political stunt. They are hurting as it is. There was leaks saying she was going to do something, there was going to something happen, and lo and behold, nothing happens. We're at 49.50. And she comes out and she does what she was there to do. She entertained. She sang her song. She danced. That's her job. Great. That's what she's there for. Hang on. We're at 50-50 right now on the votes for Betsy DeVos as Education Secretary. So this means that Vice President Pence will come down, and we're going to tie into it for a moment. Now, I don't know if they make the announcement that there's a tie. Nope, here comes Pence, and he gets to take the big chair. He'll take control and sit in the big chair, and he'll cast the tying vote.
Sure. On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative and the nomination is confirmed.
President.
Majority Leader.
I move to reconsider the vote on the nomination.
Question is on the motion to reconsider.
I move to table a motion to reconsider.
Question is on the motion to table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. And the motion to table is agreed to.
I ask unanimous consent the mandatory quorum call be waived.
Without objection.
And now he steps down. He did his job, and he'll go on. So, Betsy DeVos has been instilled or voted in, confirmed as Education Secretary. They are trying everything in their power to slow down Trump's administration. They got, I think, 2 Republicans to go over, which was expected. It is what it is. Let's see, Ted Cruz is up there now.
The question is it the sense of the Senate that debate on the nominations of Jeff Sessions of Alabama to be Attorney General shall be brought to a close? The yeas and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Alexander.
They're trying to bring Jeff Sessions up for a vote. They delayed Jeff Sessions because they knew they needed his vote as senator to get Betsy through. The rest of them, I think, are going to be pretty blasé votes. Sessions is the last one. I'm pretty sure they're going to get that through. Nothing is definite when it comes to this government. But this is a procedural vote to advance Jeff Sessions' Attorney General nomination. They've been discussing and talking, and the rhetoric has been going on for a while. It is what it is. It's annoying is what it is. But we're going to get back to Lady Gaga. Sorry about that. Looking at some information, and I'll let you know how the vote goes as it goes along. It seems nowadays for most things, they don't want Jeff Sessions. I know that, because Jeff Sessions is a man of law, and that's what they argue. He has said several times there's laws on the books that he has not agreed with, but it wasn't his job whether to pick and choose. It's his job to enforce. And that comes to, who the hell was it? There's several saying that Trump cannot govern by EOs, executive orders, which is friggin' hysterical, being that we just had a president who famously said, I have a pen and piece of paper. Panetta. Former CIA Director Leon Panetta declared he cannot govern as president through executive's order. Panetta was quoted as saying, I think that problem here is that the president needed to take the time to really look at that executive order, to vet it properly. Instead, they rushed it out very quickly. It had problems. Even they recognized the problems in implementing this. You mean like how Obama forced through the Obamacare website and implementation when it was said it wasn't ready, they needed more time. That went out, and that caused a lot of issues. Oh, that's fine. That's fine when Obama fucks up. Was this a perfect rollout of an executive order? No, it wasn't. There was some confusion on it. Big whoop-de-doo. It was worked out. We have not had another 9/11 attack in this country because we have had developed good counterterrorism operations. No, we did not have another attack like that because they backed down those attacks because they didn't expect to be attacked. Not because of counterterrorism. Have we stopped some of them? Yes. But they also backed down themselves. Trump cannot govern through executive order. Let's see if I can. Here we go. Oh, I got to do one thing. I still got to send it up.
We are not just going to be waiting for legislation in order to make sure.
All right, here we go. So they say Trump cannot govern through executive order. Where were they when?
We are not just going to be waiting for legislation in order to make sure that we're providing Americans the kind of help that they need. I've got a pen and I've got a phone, and I can use that pen to sign executive orders and take executive actions. I do what I and I've got a phone, I've got a pen and I've got a phone. I've got a pen and I've got a phone, and I can use that pen to sign executive orders and take executive actions. I do what I want. I'm going to be working with Congress where I can to accomplish this, but I'm also going to act on my own if Congress is deadlocked. I've got a pen to take executive actions where Congress won't, and I've got a telephone to rally folks around the country on this mission. I've got a pen to take executive actions. I've got a pen to take executive actions where Congress won't. I've got a pen to take executive actions where Congress won't. I've got a pen to take executive actions where Congress won't. And I've got.
But so far, Trump hasn't done anything writing laws. It's amazing how they pick and choose. When to bring this stuff up. It's funny. They talk like that, but when Obama was in, they shut their mouths. Leon Panetta was a good little bitch and just stayed quiet, which is amazing. It's I touched on this briefly yesterday, and we're going to touch on it again. The UN Gay Rights Envoy, religion freedom not an absolute right. The United Nations Envoy for Gay Rights has declared that when there is a clash between homosexual rights and religious liberty, it must be recalled that freedom of expression and religious freedoms are not absolute rights and may be limited if necessary. In a recent public consultation, the UN newly appointed independent expert on the defense of LGBT rights said that negative moral judgment on homosexual activity were a recent phenomenon stemming from colonial law. I have yet to hear the UN speak out against the Muslims and their treatment of gays. So there seems to be a Muslim religion freedom to kill, But if another religion speaks down about gays, that's extremely looked down upon. Not agreeing with speaking down about gays. I really don't care who you sleep with. I really don't. But there seems to be this rhetoric and hypocrisy when it comes between Christians saying something and Muslims murdering gays. How they're silent on the murder and speak out against people speaking. When they start speaking out against Muslims' murder and the UN does it, then I'll listen to what they have to say. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and the HighPlainsPundit.com. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying coffee, stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. I just want to point out, and again, I do not care who you sleep with. I really don't give a shit. But I find it funny that the UN's delving into this. And then you have 73 countries worldwide, almost 40% of the UN member states currently have anti-sodomy laws on their books. In Africa alone, 33 states have laws making homosexuality act a crime. Uganda, Nigeria, Sudan, and I'm not even going to try that next state or country or whatever. Speaking on behalf of African nation, Botswana ambassador told the General Administration Human Rights Committee in November that African nations are alarmed that the Human Rights Council is delving into national matters and attempting to focus on people on the ground of their sexual interests and behavior. UN, I think, they're trying to take control of too many things. They're trying to slowly take too much power away from countries. They're trying to become the end-all, be-all. We may not see it in our lifetime, but that's the direction they're headed in. Bill Nelson just voted. I know he won't be getting a vote for my family again, ever. Yes, I did the mistake. I voted for Bill Nelson. The guy that was running against him, the Republican that was running against him back in 2010, I think it was, or 12. Yeah, that Republican was a bad choice to put out there. Very bad choice. Iran says shipment will boost its supply of uranium. I don't even want to touch on Iran. I was going to, but I'm not even going to touch on this because it is what it is. And Obama screwed us so bad on Iran, it's not funny. They keep talking how Trump's going to take us to war. No, the Democrats are going to take us to war. They're pushing with a confrontation with Russia. They opened up this whole Iran can of worms. They've sat back and done nothing for so long. I don't even know where to start with it. They're getting more uranium into Iran, which is not good. They're getting ready to launch another ballistic missile, which is not good. Now, when we talk about mainstream media and we talk about the rhetoric and why people are not paying attention, when you have USA Today, and they equate Steve Bannon with terrorist Islamic State leader, it shows just how mindless they are going. It's an absolute joke. They are trying everything to attack anybody and everybody on the Trump administration. Again, they know they're on their way. Their way of government is going to get destroyed. And they know it. And they're running in fear, and they're trying to point their fingers in every which direction and trying to slander anybody and everything. That's the thing. They're slandering people. And it's absolutely disgusting. They keep comparing Trump to Hitler, and now they're trying to, and the new one is trying to compare him to terrorists. I think it was Whoopi Goldberg that started this crap up. I used to respect her as an actress. I don't even respect her as a human anymore. It's the rhetoric that comes out of her mouth is absolutely disgusting. So, Dilbert creator Scott Adams says that he's going to stop donating to his alma mater, UC Berkeley. He announced in a blog post that he will stop donating in the aftermath of the riot that erupted on campus last week in response to a scheduled event featuring Milo. Adams, who earned an MBA degree from UC Berkeley, announced that he is terminating his support of a public institution over concern he would not feel safe or welcome on campus. Speaking of Hitler, I'm ending my support of UC Berkeley, where I got my MBA years ago. I have been a big supporter lately with both my time and money, but that ends today. I wish them well, but I wouldn't feel safe or welcome on the campus. A Berkeley professor made that clear to me recently. He seems smart, so I'll take his word for it. I decided to side with a Jewish gay immigrant who has an African-American boyfriend, not the hypnotized zombie boys in black masks who are clubbing people who hold different points of view. I feel that's reasonable, but I know many will disagree and possibly try to club me to death if I walk on campus. Jeff Sessions just got advanced, I guess, for a vote with a 52-47. Hang on.
Is agreed to. The clerk will report the nomination.
Nomination, Department of Justice, Jeff Sessions of Alabama to be Attorney General.
President.
The Senator from Mississippi.
I ask unanimous consent that the Senate stand in recess until 2:30 p.m. today, and that time during the recess count post-cloture on the Sessions nomination.
Is there objection? Without objection, so ordered.
All right, they're in recess until 2:30. Berkeley is turning into a cesspool. They don't care about justice. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about freedom of speech. They have been protecting. When you come to a protest with your face covered, black mask, baseball bats, you're not there to protest. You're there to riot. If you're there to protest, you shouldn't fear showing your face. If you're there to protest, you should have no fear of anything. But when you come covered up, you're there to do others than protest. It's I'm at a loss. And that's funny. Someone tweeted, a good friend of mine, Carrie Donovan, and she said leftists support abortion as a woman's choice, but won't support a woman who is for school choices. There's nothing wrong with having choices for your children's education instead of the government making the choices for you. That's called indoctrination. It's... Raheem Emanuel, mayor of Chicago, told the Democrats they need to take a chill pill and realize they're not going to take back national power anytime soon. Damn. That's pretty ballsy. His city's burning down, and it is what it is. But damn, that's they need to realize the rhetoric that they're doing is not working, and it's making it worse. It's amazing how they just sit back and they're not learning. So on Sunday, CNN, reliable sources, they had a Hollywood reporter, Michael Wolff, I think it is, defended a recent Newsweek column in which he took aim at the media for its aggressive coverage of President Donald Trump, including a specific criticism aimed at show host Brian Steller. In a partial transcript, let's see, do I have audio on this? I might have it. Yeah, let's.
Let me read from your Newsweek column. Let's put part of it on screen here. You said the media strategy is to show Trump as an inept and craven sociopath. The Trump strategy is to show that media people are hopeless prigs out of touch with the nation. And then you mentioned me. You said the media correspondent for CNN turns to the camera every Sunday morning and delivers a pious sermon about Trump's perfidiousness. I hope I pronounced that right. Tell me about that particular issue. Do you feel that my style is wrong or my substance is wrong, trying to fact check the president?
I think it's, and I mean this with truly no disrespect, but I think you can border on being sort of quite a ridiculous figure. It's not a good look to repeatedly and self-righteously defend your own self-interest. The media should not be the story. Every week, in this religious sense, you make it the story. We are not the story.
You know, there's room for 1 hour a week on CNN for this?
Listen, I love your show. I just wish you wouldn't turn to the camera and lecture America about the virtues of the media and everyone trying to attack it. The media will be fine.
The media doesn't need defending in this moment?
The media does not need defending by the media, certainly.
Okay.
You know, and so far the media is, I mean, the New York Times front page looks like it's 1938 in Germany every day.
No, it does not. Give me a break.
The New Yorker is, as I say, has left all of its standards behind and now become, you know, an opinion vehicle constantly.
Let me read from your...
And with that, I'm going to leave the show on Michael Wolff's words of what the media has become. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and the highplainspundit.com. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.